Hey everyone, this is Shane. Thanks for taking time to watch this little video. In this one, I'm going to do a quick overview and walk around of my Teardrop trailer that I recently picked up. Just go over some of the main features. Not a whole lot of detail, probably dive down in more detail on specific things if there's an interest or if I feel like making that video. But this is a Teardrop trailer by TC Teardrops. They're out of Wausau, Wisconsin. I think there's like 13 employees, around a dozen employees, and they make a couple different varieties of Teardrop. They have a real base model. I think it's called the Oasis, which is basically just a frame and enclosure, and it's great for your do-it-yourselfers that want to build it out exactly the way you want. You have this model here, which is the original, and then they have an overlanding model and even a larger one that's a dual axle and has enough room on the front for a couple of off-road bikes. So a little bit of variety. The nice features with this is they have a lot of options for building it out exactly the way you want. You click on their website, you work your way through, and you can build something out to fit your needs and or budget. I went with the original model, and the frame size is a 5x8. I wanted to keep it somewhat small so I don't overpack things too much, and I wanted this size because it'll fit a queen size bed in the cabin. So let's kick it off at the front end. They have two options for a hitch. You can get the standard 2-inch ball like I got, or you can get the off-roading style articulating thing. For what I do, this will work just fine. And being this is my first Teardrop, I didn't want to get too custom. I want to keep it pretty standard, so in case I want to get rid of it, I can have a larger market than just the overlanding crowd. So this nice beefy jack is a standard item. You don't have to pay extra for that. It comes with it. The frame is powder coated steel, so it's nice and stout. One feature, as you probably notice here, that you don't see on a lot of Teardrop campers is a tongue mount propane tank holder, the 20-pounder. I kind of have mixed feelings about getting that one. Typically, you'll see most Teardrops still have like the small 5 or 11-pound can on the side. That's obviously an option with these guys. But I was thinking more if I go on an extended trip, I run out of propane, which will happen when you don't pay attention to things like I do. And your standard 20-pounder is so easy to exchange. You can hardly find a gas station that doesn't have a rack of these. So if I'm a long ways from home, exchanging the tank is pretty easy. I have 20-pounders for my use at home, so you know, it's just a lot more convenient. And the nice thing I like is how cleverly they mounted it. You see they got a 2-inch receiver here welded to the tongue or the frame, and it just bolts in on the other side. So I can take this off if I find it to be not useful. And being an amateur radio operator, I see this as a great thing where I can make a little mount that'll slip in here that'll hold an antenna mast. So that may be what I do. Another reason why I went with the 8x5 size frame is there's enough room on the front for a full-size toolbox. You can get them black as I did, or you can get them silver to match the main diamond coat on the front and roof of the Teardrop. I've seen people get these ordered with the black, so that way you get a true blacked out look, but I definitely wanted to keep the silver so it'll reflect as much sun as possible, or else I'll cook myself in it. So since we're pointing at this thing repeatedly, it is one sheet of diamond coat. Only holes on the top are what I had added for the rhino rack, roof rack. But you'll notice, get this little gizmo out of the way, you'll notice that unlike most teardrop trailers, there's no roof vent on it. The idea is keep the thing as strong as possible and one less spot for leaks to occur. If you have experience with campers in the past, where you're going to have leaks is usually around that roof vent. Now, to make up for the lack of ventilation, there are two passive vents, one on each side here. They're always open, and they will allow good ventilation to keep it from getting too stale inside, mitigating condensation, that type of thing. You may see the mosquitoes coming around, so I won't give you a tour of the inside, but I picked the option on the inside here. Both of these vents have a DC powered fan that is blowing out. So if a flip of a switch, I can increase the circulation inside here to exhaust out, get that condensation out, good airflow and everything. Speaking of airflow, both sides come standard with a window and a door. The door has a window in it. Both windows have a slide section for a screen. Another option is you can get a fan that will mount on the inside of this, DC powered for 12 volts, so you can get really good airflow. I opted not to get that at this time, but it's a feature I can upgrade to. Again, to keep my costs down and keep it as standard as possible, I just went with the features that I knew I'd need right away, and I can always upgrade later, either through TC teardrops, or I can buy, like canopies and that kind of stuff, roof tents from pretty much anyone. One nice feature that I'm glad I got is we have door magnets that will hold the door open. They work fantastic. They're awesome. Colors. You can see I got kind of a greenish, bluish gray. It sort of matches my truck and it sort of matches my Jeep, and it looks pretty neutral, so it'll go with any vehicle. Again, thinking future-proofing this thing in case I get a different vehicle or sell it to somebody else. And the greenish gray just kind of blends in, looks pretty good in any campsite. Tires, I went with 17-inch tires, just your regular trailer tires. For the standard model, you have a choice between 17-inch and 15-inch. You have a host of options for rims. You can get different colors, silver, just plain aluminum. I went with the black because, like you can see, I kind of have a little bit of a blacked out theme. Now the 7-inch or 17-inch tires give me plenty of clearance. It really does. With my truck and my Jeep, this thing, even though it's not the overlanding package, it'll go pretty much anywhere I want to go. I live in northern Wisconsin, and while the overlanding setups, they look really cool and it'd be a good look to have, but for me, that's all it'd really be, is a look. Northern Wisconsin, there's no land over. The extreme as the terrain gets around here would be like some logging roads or forestry roads, or just your basic two-rut trails going across a farm field, what have you. This will do the job just fine. You have a couple different options for fenders. You can have the black or the chrome, and you can either have this squared off Jeep style fender or just a semicircle, whichever looks good to you. I went with the Jeep looking ones because occasionally this may be pulled with a Jeep, but more importantly, it gives me a nice flat surface to store things. Whenever you're in camp, you're always looking for space to sit something, whether it's your shoes at night when you're going to bed or cooking stuff, what have you. I've seen on other manufacturers and stuff, a lot of people will make tables that will sit on this spare tire on the passenger side. And again, I mentioned before, future proofing rhino racks, roof rack installed right away. That will give me all the options I want if I want to put luggage racks, canopies, let somebody else do the work of installing this and making it nice and weather tight and look professional. On the back is where the galley is, and you can see they didn't go crazy trying to make a true teardrop thing. They got a nice flat aluminum panel, so it's nice and easy to seal up. They got a nice hurricane hinge here, and the thing just pops right open. And this is a feature that I really like. Instead of having, gas pistons like you have on the trunk of your car or in a toolbox, they just have a spring, a simple spring. It pops up like that. You just push it in like so on both sides to close it. Simple, doesn't, and easy to replace. I can just pick up a spring of this size, McMaster car or Granger, and I'm done. I got just your basic interior. Again, they have some options for that. They'll customize the inside to fit specific coolers or fridges that you have. I just went with the standard. Pull-out shelf, more storage down here. The one downside is this storage area is kind of trapped. To keep this thing nice and rigid going down the road, the back end is solid, so getting down there can be a little trick. I know some people have an option of putting the battery and solar charger, that kind of stuff back here, so that's not taking up room in the toolbox. Hindsight, I probably should have done that. You can see I have shore power, your 110 outlets, basically just a power strip bolted to the side. This is a table that folds out. I'll do that some other time. And space for a cooler or fridge. 12-volt power, so when I upgrade from the cheap fridge to a DC powered refrigerator, I'll be set. And on the back there is a 2-inch receiver, so you can put a bike mount or luggage rack or what have you on the outside. Quick shot of inside the toolbox. I just camp chairs, pop-up tent, that kind of stuff goes in there for now. I have a 100 amp hour lithium phosphate battery that sits here. One more thing to note for color options. TC partners with a supplier for their aluminum sheeting that offer about 200 colors. Now granted, of those 200 shades, half of them are probably indistinguishable amongst themselves. I mean, there's a lot of browns, reds, blues, grays, what have you. But if you got a specific color you really like, match a vehicle or your favorite sports team or what have you, they can probably get one that'll dial in pretty close for you. So there you go, a quick walk around of the TC Teardrop camper that I picked up. Obviously, you're going to be seeing a lot more of that on this channel, so if there's anything else you'd like me to go into more detail, just let me know. Thanks for watching, folks. Catch you on the next one.